one way to think about great leaders is to be a cheerleader. Now, not a cheerleader for everyone, because some people you can't be a cheerleader for, they're not really doing great. So in that case, then you
Yeah.
have to go your ways. But for people that are A players doing a great job, reinforce, validate, appreciate.
Welcome to the New Talent Playbook Podcast, your go-to resource for building exceptional teams and thriving businesses. Each episode delivers actionable insights on harnessing offshore talent, integrating innovative technology, cultivating a vibrant company culture, and attracting and retaining top performers. Subscribe now to never miss an episode. For more resources, visit thenewtalentplaybookpodcast.com, where you can download this episode's free workbook designed to help you apply today's insight to your business. And now, here's your host, Rob Levin.
Today, I'm joined by Scott Mesh, an award-winning CEO and leadership coach making a real impact in the early childhood education space and organizational development. Scott founded Los Niños Services, which provides specialized education and support to young children in New York City. He also helps leaders unlock their potential through the opportunity-focused methodology, guiding them to recognize and capitalize on both internal and external opportunities. As a psychologist turned executive, Scott brings a unique perspective to modern leadership challenges, including scaling teams, building resilient cultures, and navigating the complexities of both onshore and offshore talent. Scott,
Thanks so
welcome
much,
to the
Rob.
show.
Happy
Great
to be
see
here.
you.
Thanks for inviting me.
Of course, I've been looking forward to this. Scott, your background as a psychologist gives you kind of an unusual lens as a CEO. How has that training shaped the way you lead?
Some people say the best leaders are really good at listening. So that's something I have a little background in. So I think it's really helpful to assess before we address. So speed matters in problem resolution. However, also, I ask people, what do you think is more important, effectiveness or efficiency? Some people say efficiency, and I'm like, efficiency is absolutely critical. However, you got to be effective first. It doesn't matter if you're going 100 miles an hour in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
So you have to be effective, and then efficiency comes. So in terms of effectiveness, how can you be a problem solver, a good leader, if you don't understand the problem?
By the way, I'm sure psychology training then would have helped me because I'm usually the one with the quick answer, and I know the downside of that. And I totally agree with you on effectiveness. What advantages has this given you in a practical setting in terms of leading organizations?
Well, practically in the beginning phase of the organization, there's all the planning and consideration. You're working through strategy. There's always problems. And again, if you're solving the wrong problem, or if you rush into it and you're like, oh, got to do it quick, got to be quick. But then you make mistakes that can be costly. So what did Einstein say? He was asked about solving like the world's most difficult problem. If he had 1 hour to solve it, he'd spend the first 55 minutes analyzing and the last 5 minutes solving or executing on it. So basically, that's
Right.
the advantage, to have the ability to understand at different levels. Yeah, I can listen to something and I could be like, okay, let's take care of it. What do you recommend? Sounds good. Let's do it. However, I have the ability to go deeper and to ask questions maybe that somebody didn't ask, and to really think through things which have given us much better results for myself and also coaching other leaders.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Scott, I think it was Los Niños Services that has won, has been in the best companies list and employer of choice awards. What did you do as the leader of that organization to help the company accomplish that recognition?
So something we're very proud of. And the very first thing that we did was set a goal. And the goal was to create a great company, and how would we determine if we're great as measured by employees? And in other words, for them to be able to rate us highly and wind up on a best company list. We set that as a goal in 2002, and 5 years later, we won our first best company award, and then we won a number of others. So first ask yourself why, but then after why, how about what? And then set your target and just do whatever you have to do to get there.
It's great that you set the goal, and it's a great goal to set. How has that helped the results of the
Well,
organization?
it's helped in terms of recruiting and retention. So how do you create a great organization? To me, first of all, people produce profits. Whatever it is you're manufacturing, your services, you have people that are involved, and also systems, procedures, all that. So if you hire great people and you create an environment that is going to be like they would never want to leave, you're going to have to recruit a lot less and you'll be able to retain. So your recruitment costs will go way down, and it's much better atmosphere. Things have changed over the years. Okay, we live in the world. We have, I don't know, 250 people work for us. It's a lot of people. So yeah, we do recruitment. But in the earlier days when we were just starting, we're in a studio apartment where we started. We had these all staff meetings at the time, small number of people. And who told you about Los Niños? My sister. Who told you about Los Niños? My brother. And so it was just referral, word of mouth, no advertising. So hire great people, create an environment that they'll never want to leave. Basically, do the right thing, do well by your people. And if you have A players, one of the definition is that they're very productive, accountable, other things. People have different definitions depending on your business, but you have great people that are producing well. That's it. To me, the primary challenge in any business, and looking from the positive side of what works, but then also on the negative side, what doesn't work. You talk to somebody about business, what's your biggest problem? What do people say, Rob? What's your number one problem? People. Dealing with the people. So again, that's where the psychology background helps. Maybe I was always patient. Yeah, people did tell me about that during my life, but my training helped too. So, I don't get worked up very easily. Stuff comes up, I do my best to handle it, and I have some background and skills to help in that area.
Gotcha. And it reminds me of the time when I had the New York Enterprise Report, and I interviewed Danny Meyer, and somehow in the conversation, what came up, Danny Meyer, the noted restaurateur and entrepreneur, in the conversation, he said, no, we don't put our customers first. We put our people first. If we take care of our people, they will take care of our customers. And that has never, that really, it just froze me in my spot. As obvious as it seems now, it was something new to me now. And since then, that's the way I've been running companies. So thanks for the insights there. Scott, you have done a great job of building a great culture in office teams, as remote teams, offshore teams. How have you navigated that, and what have you learned makes remote and then offshore? How do you become successful?
Treat people well wherever they are. So in the pandemic, we had our U.S. team that went remote. Right. So, no matter where they are, Philippines, Mexico, whatever, just treat them as you would your U.S. folks. We were talking about different people are asking questions, and what about your other team? I was like, what do you mean other? No other. They're us.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be through like offshore, it might be through an offshore group, but they're in all the meetings, they're full team members. So you treat people like that, they appreciate it. And what is the number one reason people leave, especially A players? Lack of appreciation. One way to think about great leaders is to be a cheerleader. Now, not a cheerleader for everyone, because some people, you can't be a cheerleader for. They're not really doing great.
Yeah.
So in that case, then you have to go your ways. But for people that are A players doing a great job, reinforce, validate, appreciate.
Terrific. And I couldn't agree more. We see this with our clients to do really well in terms of our clients that work better now with offshore people is you treat them like your remote people, and you treat your remote people like you treat your in-office people, and you just integrate them all. It's one company. It's that simple. And I couldn't also agree with you more about recognition. We developed some recognition systems, which are actually really easy, and they're fun, and they're so appreciated by the
From the
team.
psychological research, what is some of the most important benefits to being with a company? Public recognition in front of peers and by peers. Peer recognition that is spontaneous, honest. You can do an employee of the month. I wouldn't say you shouldn't, but let's keep it real. Let's keep it authentic. Let's have meetings where part of every meeting is appreciation. So, we were trained by Vern Harnish, guy from Scaling Up and the Rockefeller Habits. We're going back to 2002 when we just launched a couple years before, and we were losing money every month. We had one training with Vern that turned us around and put us on the path to moving forward. He has a number of elements in the weekly meeting. One of them, appreciation. So when through how many exits we've had of people over the years, I look back and say, what worked, what could have worked better. And that weekly meeting that we had, going over all the different elements, but especially appreciation, was one of the keys, one of the top things, including people that told me when I first went to the meeting, I was like, I got stuff to do. Do I really have to sit here? Well, they came to love it, and that is one of the reasons.
The reviews are in, and leaders are calling Rob Levin's new book a game changer. The New Talent Playbook, the ultimate guide to building your dream team, is now available, and it's your roadmap to winning the war for talent and scaling with total confidence. Don't just take our word for it. Order your copy today and see why it's a must-read for every SMB leader. Find it on Amazon.com or learn more at thenewtalentplaybook.com.
Scott, you've developed the opportunity focus, and I know you use it when you're coaching other leaders. Can you tell us a little bit about what that is and how it helps you when you're coaching leaders?
Rob, I want you to think about one of the problems in your business right now. Just think about it. You don't have to say anything. Look at your face.
Got it.
You are not smiling, right? Maybe slightly aggravated, annoyed, something, a negative, right? Okay. But
yeah,
I'll tell you that when you change your perception, you change your direction. The direction of your motivation, your feelings about it. Rob, there's something that you don't know about your business, but consulting with you, I'm going to let you know that you have a big problem, and I'm going to tell you what it is. Did your heart just sink? Okay. Now, what if I told you something different? Hey, Rob, I've been looking at your company. Thanks for engaging in this consultation, and I found a huge opportunity for you. How do you feel?
Much better, because you turned a challenge into an opportunity, which is exactly what it is.
What is that in Mandarin or something? Crisis/opportunity, same word? Right? So it's not just a word change, but it's the perception. So how we perceive changes how we believe and how we feel and how we're motivated. So change your perception, you'll change the direction of how you operate and what you do. For most people, problem, all right, they know they have to solve it, but it's like a opportunity. Very different. So if we simply change that one thing, seeing problems as opportunities to improve, we're like, wow, when I take care of this one and I take advantage of this opportunity, then things will be better. So it's just a different focus. It's the same reality, but it's perceiving things differently, which changes the reality of your motivation and your actions. Your actions are what changes the business.
Sounds like an awesome Jedi mind trick, which I can't wait to use. I got to imagine this is more important than ever, because one of the things I talk about is how the pace of change in business is just insane right now. It's always increasing. And that can always make it seem like there's a ton of challenges, which there are. But along with those
Yes,
challenges are
and
opportunities.
we might think of them, as you said earlier, I think that they're really one and the same. So challenges / opportunities, industry challenges. So everybody has this problem. Challenge, opportunity. Everyone has this opportunity to do better in this area. Then there's company opportunities, how we can change things within our company that we have more control over, that can make us better, more successful. And then the other area that gets much less attention, but I find in my almost 30 years of leading this company and being in CEO groups and being coached by others, coaching other people myself, are the internal opportunities, and avoiding those hidden challenges, if you will, recognizing and responding and being able to work through things that are holding us back. The blind spots. Blind spots, they're things that we don't even see. And who in your company is going to tell you about your blind spots? Rob, hey, there's something I want to tell you. It's hard. It's not reasonable to expect people, even your top brass, to necessarily do this. I was in a meeting today with one of our leaders, and people were tiptoeing around. They didn't want to say something. So that is where an effective coach is really critical. If I could add one more thing, what Olympian do you know who has no coach? Do you
I don't
think that there
exists.
is an Olympian who doesn't practice? Okay. Now, as leaders, we want to excel. What is our plan to excel? So let's think about it for a minute. As we know, practice makes, don't answer. People think practice makes perfect, but it doesn't. Practice makes permanent. If we keep practicing things bad, they're always going to be bad. So how can we change the cycle? Why is it, out of all of the athletes in a field, why is it that there's 3 that medal? What is it that they did that is different? Did they work 25 hours in a day? No. Did they work 18 hours? There's a limit to how much you can practice. It is not in the quantity of the practice, it's in the quality. And specifically, there's one question the Olympians ask all the time. They are only interested in one thing after they practice. What can I do better? They don't need to have smoke blown wherever. They don't need their egos to be pumped up. They just want it. They want a medal. They want to be better. So there's really only one question that you must ask if you want to excel. What can I do better next time? Ask the question, initiate the feedback. We used to have, when we hired people, we're like, accepting feedback is one of the most important things. It is. But we came up with something better. Asking for feedback. So accepting feedback is one thing, but actually initiating and do that. Keep asking people, what could I do better next time? That's the power question, and you are going to excel.
Very powerful, Scott. And by the way, for those of you listening and not watching, I think it was when Scott said internal challenges, what you didn't see is he was pointing to his head. So internal, not company internal, but those internal challenges we always have bouncing around our brain. Some of us, there's more bouncing around than others. I'm talking about myself here. Scott, these insights have been totally incredible, and I really appreciate you coming on the show and sharing them with us and our audience. Where can people find out more about you?
scottmesh.com. So that's it. You can go to LinkedIn. I know it's hard to believe, but there are other Scott Meshes. So I am Scott Mesh NYC on LinkedIn. If you search for me there, you'll get it,
On LinkedIn.
or scottmesh.com.
Awesome. Scott, thanks again. And I'm looking forward
It's
to
been a great pleasure,
seeing you around
Rob.
the
Hey,
seas.
good seeing you. Thank you so much for the invitation. It's been my pleasure.
Thanks for listening. The New Talent Playbook podcast is brought to you by Work Better Now. Don't forget to review, subscribe, and download the workbook for this episode at the link below. If you'd like to connect with us, you can find us on LinkedIn at the New Talent Playbook Podcast or visit thenewtalentplaybookpodcast.com.